Good morning, everyone. Well, if you want a quick summary of Thursday and Friday's forecast, it's off and on showers and storms. But if you want a little bit more detail, let's time things out for you starting at 8 a.m. this morning. And for the morning commute, we're talking about isolated showers and storms. There's about an equal chance anywhere in the area, but notice more in southeast Nebraska are dry than seeing rain. So more likely that you'll be dry than see rain for the morning commute, but got to mention the chance. And the chance of rain is going to stick around throughout the day. But notice that at any given time, there are certainly dry spots. So there are going to be showers and storms around, but it's not going to rain all day. This is looking like a day where it'll probably rain where you are for a little bit, then it'll stop, and then it may very well start raining again. It's the nature of these scattered shower storms. Now, I will say if you're looking for subtle differences, this is looking at 11 a.m. and probably still more on the isolated side. I think there will be a little bit more activity, a little bit more coverage once we get into the afternoon. This time of year, we tend to see shower and thunderstorm activity peak in the afternoon hours, but notice still some gaps showing up. As far as high temperatures go today, with the cloud cover around, more clouds than yesterday, more rain than yesterday, it is going to be cooler. Notice the variety in temperatures, and it's all going to depend on exactly when a shower or storm works over you. I do think most of us are going to reach the mid-80s though, and then if a shower or thunderstorm works over you, then look at temperatures dropping into the low to mid-70s. I do think it's going to happen in spots, but most of us will at least briefly top out in the mid-80s, and it's going to be breezy today, regardless of how close you might get to a thunderstorm. We're talking about gusts around 20 miles per hour, but if you get near one of these thunderstorms, then we're talking about wind gusts 30, 40 miles per hour, but no damaging wind, no damaging hail. Now, could there be some pea-size hail? Yeah, that's a possibility in some of these storms, but we're not talking about severe storms today, so no damaging wind and no damaging hail. But heavy rain and lightning, yeah, that's going to be around with a peak in the afternoon hours. Notice, though, that especially in the early evening, still some activity. But notice now we're looking at 8 o'clock and transitioning back to isolated activity, not as much as during the afternoon hours. And there could very well be a period during the overnight when the atmosphere is most stable where there's not going to be anything. But do have to mention for the morning commute tomorrow, like today, isolated showers, maybe a couple of weak storms, but probably more likely to be dry than seeing rain. Just like today, tomorrow, I do think there's probably going to be more activity in the afternoon. Notice 11 a.m., still isolated, but jump ahead to 3 o'clock, more showing up. Gaps, but scattered showers and storms. Temperatures look to be the same tomorrow. Most of us will at least briefly top out in the mid-80s, which is just a touch above normal for this time of year. We should be averaging highs in the low 80s, so slightly above normal. I think there might be a little bit less wind tomorrow. We'll call it a light breeze, gusts around 15 miles per hour. And let's look at Friday evening plans. Just like today, after the peak in the afternoon, activity is going to be dying down once we get into the evening hours, but looking at 7 o'clock, there will still be isolated showers and storms around. So do have to mention a chance of rain, especially if you're going to be out early Friday evening. The later you stay out Friday night, the smaller the chance of rain. In fact, during the overnight hours, we'll probably completely dry out. But guess what? On Saturday, it's going to be a repeat again. It's the same story. Scattered showers and storms. Looking ahead to Sunday, though, I do see a decrease in the rain chance. Not as many seeing rain, looking at a situation where the activity will once again peak in the afternoon, but only isolated showers and storms. I do think more are going to be staying dry on Sunday compared to today, tomorrow, and Saturday. And finally, before we wrap up, today is the first day of hurricane season. So for this week's episode of the Across the Sky podcast, it's all things hurricanes. We spoke with the director of the National Hurricane Center, and he shared his thoughts on what he expects for this season and hurricane seasons in the future. So if you have any interest in tropical storms and hurricanes, be sure to listen to the podcast below this video or wherever you get your podcasts.